Hi, and welcome to another edition of Women in Power Active, an initiative from UR Sportswear, where we talk with women who are doing things that we just find awesome and exciting and inspiring, and bring them to you, and also invite your questions to this interview. Today, we're very excited. We're stepping a little bit outside about with the people whom we normally speak with. We've talked with a lot of runners and cyclists and ultra hikers, and today we're going to look a little bit at the intersection of art and athleticism, and talk with Cina McKenna, who is a dancer and choreographer and works in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. And so, Cina, welcome to Women in Power Active.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Thanks for reaching out.
We are so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Originally from New Orleans, we were talking about this earlier, and now in LA. Could your background it's very similar to a lot of girls, right? Your mother put you in. You were in gymnastics and soccer and dance growing up, and tell us a little bit about your dance background and maybe some of your movement background if you want to throw some of the sports that you played growing up in there also.
Yeah, so dance, well, dance in New Orleans is very different and it's fun because we have our own music. We have bounce music. So like on the East Coast in Baltimore, there's B-more, there's hip hop, which is separate, and then in New Orleans we have bounce, which is very high tempo, fast paced, lots of energy, and there are so many different dance moves to so many different types of bounce music. And so at first, as a child, just doing those line dances and those party dances is how I got started. My mom put me in tap jazz ballet. I did shuffle step. We did Disney on Ice, on stage, not real Disney, just the theme Disney on Ice. And so doing those party dances and street dances really got me into movement, but I never thought, seriously, this is what I was going to do. But I was involved in piano, gymnastics, soccer. My mom said, okay, pick some, you got to shave them down. Started shaving them down. Always loved gymnastics, always loved music. Dropped soccer for a little bit. And then throughout high school and middle school, I was just doing sports. I was always active. I did tennis, I did basketball, I did softball, I did whatever, it didn't matter. And then in high school, I did track. I really loved track and field. I was really good with javelin and shot put. I loved the high jump and pole vaulting. It was all so much fun. Um, and then, and then I don't know what happened. It's just I started caring more about dance. I started copying music videos. I started picking it up again. And it's not like it ever left my life, but I was never in the studios. I wasn't the studio child. I didn't do dance competitions. After about 7 or 8 years old, it was just for fun. It was all just at parties and just for fun. And then at the end of high school, I started copying dances and putting them up online just to see, how people responded. And I got really good feedback, and then I thought, I feel like I could do this. And then in college, I saw I went to George Mason University in Virginia, and we have a hip hop troupe called Urbanology 101. And when I saw them perform at our pep rally, Mason Madness, I thought, oh, I gotta do that. I gotta be them. I gotta know them. I gotta see them. Tried out next semester and was on the team, and then after 2 years I was artistic director for the team, and we did competitions and shows, and then I graduated and I joined Culture Shock DC, which is part of an international um, company. And so there's Culture Shock LA, there's one in Sweden, I think, Las Vegas, San Diego, San Francisco. There's so many branches of Culture Shock, and so I was on Culture Shock DC for 2 years, and they really taught me a lot of foundation, a lot of house styles, funk styles, all the old school foundation, and it was really great for me. And then after 2 years of that, I moved on out and came to LA, and here I am.
And there you are. And no, in college you studied kinesiology. Is that right?
I did. The official title of my degree. For some reason, it's very, very long. It's health, fitness, and recreation resources with a concentration in kinesiology. Since I've graduated, they've condensed it and made it much more, it's much easier to say to people, but everyone in my grade, we say we're kinesiology because that's what we're accredited for and that's what we know.
That's what, and I'm wondering, how that, because obviously you studied movement and body movement in that line of, in that field of academic study. Did that or does that help you at all when you're thinking about dance or when you're creating choreography at all? Does that transfer at all, or is that just something you have in the background?
It totally transfers. And my parents love to say, well, you have something to fall back on. Well, I'm not falling back on anything. It's come forward to help me in in today's world, in this profession. And actually, even though I'm young, I'm 24, and my peers, they're complaining about, oh, my body's broken, my hip this, my knee that, I need surgery this. And I thought, surgery, take care of yourself. Every other athlete has trainers. Every other sport has Olympic standards. They have trainers. They have regiment. Dancers try to get away with, well, I dance all day and that's good enough, but you're using your battery, but you're not replenishing your battery. So having this kinesiology degree really changed the way I took care of my body and how I could help advise other dancers specifically to take care of their bodies better because they try to get away with the most, and it shows because they don't have very long careers, and we're very young but very old bodies, very old and broken bodies. But my degree, I mean, it really makes a difference. I see that only because of my peers and where they are and where I am physically. I know I can count on my body to withstand what I'm going to give it.
And could you maybe, tell us a little bit about what um, I mean, we talk about training, what training is like, or how you approach. I mean, I'm sure that's not just all the time in the studio. There's a lot of time, I'm sure, in the studio and dancing. But what kind of goes into, you know, maintaining, creating your physicality throughout dance?
For me personally, I've done I've tried a couple different packages of exercise, if you will. I really count on weightlifting. I did clinical and performance internships in college, and so I had a little bit of both. I did cardiac rehab with an older group and a slow pace, and then I also did um, this great place called SAPT in Virginia. Thank you for all that training. They focused on student and adult athletes, and it was performance. So for me, I usually try to get three to 4 days of weight training in the gym. And it's not the craziest stuff I've ever seen. Sometimes I like to mix it up and go online and get some inspiration, but I usually just stick to deadlifts, squats, push-ups, curls, tricep presses, back extension, rows, just the real foundational strength for the body, and I think that does wonders for my knees and my hips and my alignment. Um, if if not, uh, if I'm not weight training, I'm probably just dancing. I'm probably just doing some freestyle, getting my cardio up. And I like to mix it up. I like to do some yoga sometimes. I like to do what I like to call my fake yoga, where I'm just, trying to increase my flexibility and it makes me feel cool. I'm doing back bridges, I'm doing scorpions, I'm trying to do my split, because I'm not as flexible as every dancer. They can put their foot by their ear, and that's not my background. So I'm working on that. But yeah, I like to mix it up sometimes. And actually, right now, I'm training for some action sequences. So I'm doing some kickboxing, boxing, and um, really intense weightlifting. But it's really fun. It's great. Yeah.
That's great. And you mentioned that how for you like weightlifting and some weight training. And that I know that runners have this. I know that women in general have this stereotype about going into the weight room, and we've talked with some women who are strong women and have talked about, you know, if I go in the weight room and I lift weights, I'm going to get too bulky. I'm not, it's going to, and are concerned about that. I'm just wondering, you're obviously you believe in the power of weight training and how that can help. What do you, I mean, do you see that in the dance world? That concern about that?
Yes, all my friends, all the female friends, I want to lift weights, but I don't want to look too big. You can't look too big as a woman who is fit. That's not going to happen. Also, I think when they see, women who are bigger than them and they think, I don't want to be that big, I tell them, you know how much protein these girls are having? You know how much they're working out? You're not even close. You're not even close. You'd have to go 3 times more in volume for your workout to get where that girl is as far as her body composition. When it comes to just a woman who wants to be fit, muscle burns fat, so grow your muscle. It's sexy. It's not bad. It's muscle never looks bad. And then, oh, I don't want to be ripped. Well, don't get ripped. Just get fit. You don't have to. The bulky doesn't come. The bulky's a myth. I'm not bulky. I don't think anyone's ever called me bulky in my life, and I can lift weights. I can lift some weights. So I have my dancer friends tell me that all the time. Especially, I've heard in the ballet culture, they're very, particular about their slim figures. But those are strong, strong women with very strong muscles. They're not bulky, but they have very strong muscles. You can work on your body and not, that bulkiness is just a stigma to make an excuse of why you're not going to work out. And that needs to go, that needs to be cut. If you really want to get your fitness goals, that whole bulky business has to be cut. That's a lie. That's a myth. Don't worry, ladies. You're not going to get bulky. You're just going to get sexy.
That's excellent. And as you kind of mentioned earlier too, not only are you going to get fit and sexy, but also as far as a longevity with your body and injury prevention and kind of feeding your body to do those other things that you really love to do, that plays into it also, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I there's no way. I know when I'm doing a rehearsal and it's maybe 4 hours long and it's very intense. I know the girls who don't work out because they're bent over. Oh man, I'm tired. Oh, my knees. And then they ask me, "Oh, Cina, my knee. I have my knee. What do I do? What do I do?" Well, you need to rest, but you need to hit the gym. That's always the answer. And they want something quick like, "Oh, let me rub it or let me." I don't know what they expect, but the answer is you need to put more work on the front end. You need to get in the gym, strengthen your joints so they can take that intensity, so you can have long, strong body. But if you want to just keep using and abusing, you'll find out what happens in the next 10 years.
And when so we talked a little about what you do, maybe away from dancing. How often are you? I mean, does it depend on what projects or what things you're working on, as far as how much you're dancing and what sort of environment that goes into?
Well, yeah, yeah. It depends. This It's funny with the dancers and in the entertainment industry, because you never know when there might be an audition. You never know when you're going to have last minute rehearsal. So it's been interesting trying to find that balance for myself, and it is hard to offer that type of advice to other dancers because every dancer has a different schedule. And some of us have rehearsal till 3 a.m. and then they ask me, but I'm hungry after. Can I eat after? Can I not? Can I this? Can I that? And I'm not an expert on that, but for me, it you know it's finding the right time to sleep. It's always finding enough time to sleep, and then at least 30 minutes of an exercise. And I tell myself, even when I don't want to, I say, just go and do something, and then go home. And this is something someone told me before, is they say, just tell yourself, go do a little something. But once you go, you always feel like doing more. So that's the good part. The hard part is just telling yourself to just go and just do a little and see how you feel. But it's listening to your body and knowing what's right. But everyone's body says different things to them, and for one person it's okay to take a rest that day. For another person, maybe they need to work harder. For a third person, maybe you need a combination of, something really intense and quick and then resting for the rest of the day. But I think the best thing, um, if you're trying to find out what works for your schedule and your body, is to really, really take a moment to center yourself and think, what do I want out of my fitness? What are my fitness goals? What do I want my body to be able to do today? And what do I want my body to be able to do tomorrow? And you gotta follow other people who are doing that. Like, and also for me, I'm vegan, so this has become a challenge, is finding, as an athletic woman, how can I get all that protein that I need? And lots of people complain about their iron and their B12, and there's always a way to find how to get those things into your body. But it's a lot of research and it's a lot of time. It's trial and error. I've made lots of mistakes. I continue to, but I'm figuring it out. And the more I reach out and the more I look for people on my same path, the easier it's going to get, no matter what.
So it's interesting you mentioned that you're vegan, and how long have you been eating vegan?
Only since September.
Okay.
So when is September, October, November, December, January, February, March? So 6 months.
Months. Okay.
6 months vegan. Yeah.
Happy 6 months and a happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Everybody has different decisions or reasons why they make decisions on certain eating patterns. Was there a certain thing that guided you towards wanting to eat vegan?
Yeah, I'd watched too many documentaries. I watched too many documentaries to go back. I did. I watched, even this is led up, from years ago. I did. Oh, my phone. Can you see me?
Oh, I got you. Yeah, there you
All
are.
right. I at first, I'd cut cow and pig, right? I said, I couldn't kill a cow. Pigs are really smart. I think it's kind of messed up. And then it was, I could kill a bird. I could kill a chicken. I'll eat chicken. And then they're in really bad conditions. Even the places that say they're kosher, I'm looking at these videos of, and then, okay, well, I'll eat fish. Oh, there's overfishing and there's oil spills and there's this and this is how bad it is for the environment. And then I said, you know what? Screw it. Until I just feel really good about sustainable, renewable energies, this is my choice for now. And yeah, I could go back, I think, and eat fish. I don't know if I ever want to eat meat again, but I could do fish. I'm from the South, so seafood, crawfish. Oh yeah, it was hard telling my mom. But good thing is there was a great vegan gumbo spot in New Orleans, so that impressed her and that changed also my view. I said, okay, I can't have anything I want again. I just gotta figure it out from scratch. I gotta figure out a new way to reinvent this wheel. But yeah, vegan, it's cool. It's just it's tough because of the planning and the timing and knowing how much you really need to ingest and how much nutrients you really need. But it's cool. I love it. I'm cool with it.
That's good. It sounds like, I wanted to ask you, before when you were talking about um, your journey into how you ended up in LA and sort of, finding dance. Was there a point where you realized this is my passion? This is what I'm going for?
A point in LA while I was here.
Or any point, either when it was in college, like there was a point when you're like, dance is this is where my path is right now.
I think that point was in college, when it was, I think, after joining the team, the hip hop team, and then directing it. I thought, oh yeah, I got to do this. I love making this vision come to life. I love creating choreography and having the message told through the music as closely as I can and as well as I can represent it, as expressive as possible. I fell in love with that process, and that's what really. And then when I got good feedback, not just from friends but from strangers, I love that piece, and man, that was great. That was great. I thought, okay, I think I can do this. I think I can do this.
And as you're getting that feedback, right, and about your artistic expression, and you talked about like having your vision come to life, when you're directing it. You're doing that, and we've also been talking a lot about fitness, right, and with a very sort of athletic endeavor. So the combination or it's kind of where dance is one of those places where it's easy to kind of see art and athleticism kind of intersect and come together. And what's your experience with that, with those two worlds kind of coming together?
Oh, with art and athleticism, man. I mean, dancers nowadays are so powerful. The I almost want to put, like a force plate under our feet, and figure out how much we're really sending into the ground. It's crazy. I mean, and the subtlety, the strength that it takes to do subtle movements, like, poppers or just that slow motion, it's so full of power and everything is contracting, it's not, dance is not a loose body necessarily. It can be, but there's so much activation in the fingertips and the toes and the head and your eyelids, So I I I find that the you can enjoy dance in any body, anybody can enjoy dance, but the real, for me, the true dancer is the one that's whose body can be ready for any type of dance. And I don't know ballroom, but I'm ready for ballroom. My posture, I practice, my posture is ready for ballroom. I'm not a contemporary dancer, but I'm ready to roll on the floor because I'm physically training myself to be ready for that moment. So it's funny because hip hop can be a lot on just your feet, but as you know, break dancers, I mean, that's crazy athleticism. They're doing spins on one hand, they're gymnasts. They're gymnasts in the most expressive way with no judges. I mean, there are judges in battles, but they're not critiquing you on pointing your toes. They're critiquing you on how fast you just spun or how creative you were with that huge kick you just did in the air to your back flip to your drop down split all on beat. So that type of athleticism is to me unparalleled in the dance world. That's incredible. That's just unbelievable, the sweat. And I've tried, breakdancing, and I tell you, just doing a six step on the floor, which is just that basic run around with their feet that they do with their hands on the floor, that's a core workout. That is a tough core workout. That is no joke. And I think, man, you guys are doing this for how long? How many hours a day? I'm out of breath in 20 minutes, and they practice hours and hours and hours. Their bodies are so strong and so flexible at the same time. It's really, dance is really at another level athletically. It's amazing. I'm really happy for it. It's kind of scary, but that's why I'm also very adamant and aware about taking care of it, because if we want it to keep going like this, we all have to take care of ourselves better.
That's and obviously you're mentioning and we're talking about your level of dance and where you are. For women who are, one of the things we talk about here is trying to live active, healthy lifestyles. So there might be women out there who are like, well, I took dance when I was 8 years old and never did it, or I'm really I kind of like to do it, but I'm a little nervous. I mean, you like you said, anybody can dance, and there are places that if you're an adult, you can go to take dance lessons and dance classes, and it seems to me just in my perusing that there's a lot more available too for adult women, if you're whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, to go out and to try different styles of dance. Is that your experience too?
Yes, and I teach dance classes. I've taught dance classes to adults. Hip hop cardio is like one of my favorites to teach, It depends on the class. Every class is different. I would maybe, ask around, ask a friend or Yelp, or, find a dance studio or a teacher that has really great positive reviews for beginners, that makes people feel good. Because the most important part is feeling good. The most important part is having fun while you dance and not being stressed out by, who's there or what they might think. Just go, or even if you put on a song in your room and you put that song on for repeat and it's got to repeat 5 times before you stop dancing, you're going to be sweating your buns off. There's no way. I do it still. I put on my favorite song. or 3, I make a playlist and I say, okay, I'm just going to keep dancing nonstop until this playlist is done. And it doesn't matter what I do necessarily, but that I just kept moving and that I had fun doing it. So I think for women who are looking for the dance classes, and I've had many parents, because I teach kids too, and the parents say, "Oh, I want to dance, but I haven't danced in so long." Just hop in there. If you want to take a dance class, hop into the next beginner one and have fun. Do your best and have fun. If not, put on some music at home, stand in your bathroom mirror and feel it and love yourself, and you got this. Get the beat, get comfortable before you go show off, if that's what it's for, if that's what it's about for you. If you want to look cool for someone, that's fine, that's cool, it's all good. But just put on some music and tell yourself, don't stop until the song's done. Don't stop until the song plays 3 times, and you're going to get a good workout.
That is great. That is great. And that makes me feel a lot better about when I put on my headphones and just dance around my living room,
Oh
to
yeah.
like my playlist. I do
Oh
that.
yeah.
I
Oh
do.
yeah, professional
I think
dancers,
I've
they're
done
doing
that
it.
since my mom was probably, if she's watching right now, she's laughing because I did that all the time. Never took a dance class, but just would dance around the house all the time.
Yeah, hey, we all start somewhere, and not everything can be taught in a classroom, so that's a good place. Once you find it for yourself, then someone can teach you a move. But when we're talking about just enjoying the music as dance is, you can do that anywhere. You can, like you said, put on your headphones. I do it. Put on my headphones and dance around the room. I'd rather dance in my room than go to the studio, because that's just how I feel.
And it was very interesting when you just mentioned like the you're dancing like for yourself and to feel it and to feel the music, and to move as opposed at first before you kind of go out into the world. And if that's your thing out in the world, and that's to show off for someone, like you said, that's great. But there is that comfort level. I think that so many people, for so many different reasons, have this, maybe not many different reasons, but have this phobia of dancing in public, right? I think they're afraid of how they're going to look.
Hmm.
What would you say to people who have that fear? Like, I don't want to look, stupid. Or you're probably not familiar with the Elaine Bennis episode on Seinfeld of her tiny little kicks, but
Oh no.
yeah, no, you're way too young for that. But no, but there's like, yeah, there's just it's this phobia of looking silly when you're out dancing. And but so what's your response to people who might have that fear?
My response is, you look sillier when you're just standing there. You look way sillier and weirder and awkward. I'm looking at you like, oh, she doesn't dance. I'm not looking at the girl who's, I don't care what she's doing. She's having fun, and that's what I feel. I'm not looking at her thinking, ugh, she's not good, or who does she think she is? Anyone who thinks those negative thoughts about people when they dance are insecure and they don't know how to dance. Anyone who's a true dancer can appreciate when the music comes on. If you feel it and you can show your true feelings, then that's good. Then you're having a good time and we're having a good time, and there's no judgment. If you're worried about people judging you, you should go straight up to them and dance in their face and say, "Come on, what you got then? If you want to look at me, what do you have? Can you dance? I don't think so. That's why you're over there talking. So if anyone's out there with problems about dancing in public, you got to say who cares. You got to say who cares, and unless unless they're the best dancer in the world and you're just intimidated, even then that dancer would want to see you having fun. They would want to see you just committing. It's about the commitment and the intention. It's not about the execution. That's for professionals. That's when you're getting paid. It's about the commitment and the intention when you start. Just it's the commitment to do the moves, to dance with your heart, and the intention to have fun.
That is spectacular right there. I think that's like that's great. And it reminds me of something that I've read or heard, that no one really looks silly when they're having fun. When you're joyful and in the moment, that's what comes through. Not, like as you said, not the execution of it, but the joy is what comes through.
Right. Even when I'm teaching kids and they're a little stiff, like, oh, I don't want to do this. She looks weird. I do the weirdest move. I like put my chicken arms up and do this, but I do it cool, and I say, you can't tell me anything. If I'm doing this and I feel like this is cool, you can't tell me it's not cool. I won't believe you, and it won't matter, because to me, this is cool right now. It's all about what you think. It's how you feel. It's not about what other people think. They're when they're too worried about someone else's dance moves, they need to work on their own.
That's great. And you mentioned that you teach, and I know you also do some choreography also, correct? Is that
Yes,
so
yes.
what is that like for you as someone who performs and then also then teaches and then creates and works on choreography? How does your process work for that?
Um, well, it's it's different and the same. So when I'm teaching kids and adults, I always focus on getting the groove of the music. It's not about the choreography ever starting. It's about how you feel to the backbeat, how you get this groove, how you bounce. Because that's hip hop, is the bounce, is the rock. But it's when choreographing, I go into how it just makes me feel. Sometimes when I choreograph, it's it's not about getting up and moving immediately. For some people, they like to just freestyle right into it. For me, I like to hear the song and close my eyes and see myself doing everything I want to do in that song. Then I get up and try. Because it's always different when you hear it and you think you can do it. And then you try and maybe you have to change some things. But for choreographing for myself, when it comes to expression, I just like to listen and get into the music. I play it many, many times, and then I start piecing together some movements. I remember a sequence here and a sequence there, and then I start to connect. But when it comes to choreographing for class, like for kids or anyone starting, I just focus on the groove, and everything's easy. Everything's in a 4 count. Everything's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, just to get you in this rhythm of the music. But yeah, choreographing, that's I love mixing the vocabulary, and taking so many different class styles that I've taken over the years, and just merging it into anything I want. That's my true that's where I really love to express myself. With the kids, I love making them dance. I love seeing kids do moves that, adults don't like to do. But when it comes to choreographing for art, that's where I am in my headspace. I prepare and I envision, and then I express and I execute.
That's great. And so when you're doing your choreography, we're not talking about the classes, but when you're doing your choreography for a piece and you're listening to the music, are you listening specifically for how it makes you feel, your interpretation of the song? Are you trying to figure out what the artist mean? How do you, I guess there's different ways that I would envision you could approach that. How do you go about, how do you do that?
Um, I for me, the song has to mean something. The message is so important to me. The actual words coming out of the artist's mouth. Um, and yeah, sometimes it's not appropriate. Sometimes it's a little vulgar or it's a little heavy, but most of the time, the music I really connect to, is the music with the really positive worldly message. And so when I can hear that message, I've automatically become in a different state because I know what I'm trying to tell someone with my body. And then when I hear the beat and the music comes in, and I just let it kind of take over me like a dream. I just let the music, I just do what the music is telling me. If it's a hard bass, I hit the hard bass. And if his words open up and it's something, I might act it. It's I like to mix like musical theater, hip hop, jazz, modern, anything I can put in my big pot of moves. But for me, it's the message first. I always, unless unless it's instrumental, like it's an old school hip hop beat, or it's a funky song, it's a funky groovy beat, and then
Mhm.
I'm just freestyling off the top, But when it comes to choreography, it's about the message I hear and the message I feel. And but first it's the words. It's the words I hear from whoever means them. And then when I feel this music with those words, I kind of go in between the beat and the words. It's hard to explain, but that's how I create. Is I kind of float in between the words and the music. It's some type of in between state.
Okay, yeah. That's it's a whole other process. But no, I get what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like you're finding it's the message and it's how it's everything comes together, right? And you're finding that space in there in which you can then creatively express the message of the song.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I got that a little bit. What are
Yeah.
your what projects are you working on? What are you up to these days right now, or what's on in the future for you, near future?
Well, right now I just finished. I actually had um a woman I look up to. Her name is Laure Cotemont, and she's a French woman from Paris, but she is a dance hall. I don't even know what kind of word to give her. It's not a dance hall queen. She has delved into the culture and really, really honed in on the history and the vocabulary and the root of the movement, and she is so wonderful. And so I just assisted her with a video where I played Rihanna, and it's like three different scenes and three different pieces of Rihanna's music, but very differently themed, but all dance hall movement. And so that was really fun. That was a whole lot of fun. I can't wait till that video comes out. And she's asked me to be her assistant so I can learn her technique and her style and how she interprets the music because it's so incredible. She's got a great ear. Um, for myself, I'm working on a project actually to French. Well, he's from Belgium, Stromae, and so I'm working on some choreography to his music because even though it's in French, it has this powerful message, and I feel I I definitely want to create to that. And so I've got something I'm working on and it's very different. And so I have to practice. I have to practice this choreography. This is not choreography that's easy for me. Even though I made it, I have to practice this. Um, and then actually in the future, I am working on an action something. So I'm training with kickboxing and boxing and like really crazy calisthenics and just recently swords sword fighting. So it's really fun. Yeah.
It's really and it's. Do you find a charge from getting to learn something new, like you with those things with?
Yes, absolutely. Even for a while, my boyfriend and I made him do acro yoga with me. And in our bedroom, I said, come on, get on your back and press me up here on my hips. And then, duck position and let's go upside down, hold me here, twist around. I love it. Anything new because, it's too monotonous to just keep going to the gym and keep doing this. I'm not bored easily, but I look for something new often. And so acro yoga was so much fun. We should pick it up again. I don't know why we let it drop, but that's a whole lot of fun. If you have a friend that's willing to laugh with you and get weak, your legs get weak, that's I would definitely recommend acro yoga to anyone. That is a very fun activity.
All right, there's on the to-do list to check out acro yoga. Okay, I like
Yes.
that. All right, and then if people want to find you on the web, is there a way that people can find you if we want to watch some of your work? Is it out there for us to
Yeah.
find?
Yeah, it is. I change up my channel sometimes based on how I'm feeling about my product. But my YouTube is Secret Cina. It's Cina with a Cina, and it's youtube.com/secret Cina. I've got some videos up. So most of them are kind of old, but I've got some new content coming out soon. I've been a little busy, but I've got some new content coming.
All right. Okay. Great. So we can go Secret Cena and check you out and go back so that we can see new stuff that might be coming up. And the last thing that
Yeah.
we always ask our guests to do is, what words of advice or encouragement would you give to women who are watching this, who are who are looking to live active, healthy lifestyles and to get moving and to make those fitness decisions in their own lives?
Um, my advice is to find find someone you can you can do it with. Find someone who at least can hold you accountable. Know you're the type that you'll plan to go to the gym in the morning and then you'll wake up and you'll put it off. You need to find someone who's going to call you and say, said you were going to do, you know. Um, Also, everyone starts somewhere. I'm not the story of, a woman being overweight and losing weight. That's incredible to me. And so if you feel you're at, a body weight that you don't want to be at, or you'd like to lose weight or something, find those women who lost hundreds of pounds. That's so inspiring. I don't know what kind of work that takes, and that takes way more work. That takes way more work. Then once you get down, maintaining is not as hard as what I see women do to like lose weight. Man, that some tough women. So if you're out there and you are feeling like I want to start, or you're feeling discouraged because you've started and you've fallen off. I fall off all the time. I shouldn't say that, but it happens, like
Mhm.
you get sad, life gets in the way, this and that, but you know what you want. Tell yourself you know what you want. You believe in yourself, and that's what matters. And just stick to it. And being healthy is not a cleanse for the weekend. Being healthy is not a diet for the month. Being healthy is caring about everything you put in your body, everything you do with your body, and how it recovers. You need sleep and you need recovery, but you need to train, and you need to train your mentality, and you got to train that palate. You got to get good food in. It doesn't have to be all organic everything, but you got to get good food in. I haven't had fast food in years. I don't do soda. I don't miss it. And people say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm not. I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I don't crave it. I don't want it. I want my vegan cake. I want the soup I made in the fridge that's really good. I want these things. I don't want the things I know are bad for me. You really got to change your mind about it. And just to be just to say a little more, even me, like my mom says, all I ate was pork and beans and broccoli for many years of my life. And I hated salad and I hated tomatoes, but and then I told myself, these are good for me. Who cares what they taste like? It's good for me. So suck it up and eat it. And then I now I can eat tomatoes. I never thought I'd eat tomatoes. It's so simple, but you really got to change your mind and say, you know what? It doesn't matter what I really think about it right now. What I know is that this is better for me. What I know is that this is better for me, it's healthier for me, and this is what I want tomorrow. This is what I want next year. So stay strong. You got this. Just, you know what you need to do. You always know what you need to do. Just do it.
Excellent. Cina McKenna, thank you so much for joining us. So inspiring and so much fun. Really enjoyed having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. And so for everyone, thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next time on Women in Power Active.